Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Can You Survive? Tides of War. We have made it all the way to the very last day of this game, day number 5, and we are starting this day off with a tribal council. So 7 players filing in front of me, and only 6 will leave because that's how math works. We are so excited to be bringing you the conclusion of the show today, so stick around all day long and catch all the action. Sorry, I'm trying to turn the camera around so you can see our fabulous players. There they are. And entering Tribal Council, we have Alicia, Ty, Drew,
welcome back,
Dylan, Kevin R, Cam, and Ale.
All right, I will now bring in our jury. Give them a second to join us. All right, please welcome our jury. We have Katie, Dan, Zoe, Louie, Molly, and Meg voted out at our last tribal council. Drew, talk to me about what it means to make this final day. Before this tribal council, we gave you some words of encouragement from home. Just talk a little bit about the emotion of getting ready for this final stretch of the game.
It was just insane. I don't know if any of us actually thought we would get to this point. I think we told ourselves that, we manifested it, but to actually be here, beyond like my wildest imagination. I went to bed and woke up every morning expecting that to be my last, and to literally be here on the final day, I've made it as far as you can make it technically, is just incredible. I'm so glad that I got to experience everything there is to experience.
Okay, great. Well, we kind of had a little bit of a twist for you in that, we had the challenge before heading to bed, meaning, strategy was all fair play at that point, Kevin. Do you feel like the tribe got to sleep last night, or do you feel like people were up and about, making deals before the morning?
As far as I could see, it was really beautiful that everybody kind of had this like silent agreement of we really all 7 of us just love each other and kind of just wanted to be grateful for that experience and be present in it. And people just shut their mouth about strategy, and we kind of there was the like, do we just talk about this in the morning and enjoy this? And we just had a lot of like really great chats, and we all just I think I speak for all of us. We're very grateful, and it's a freaking awesome group.
We all got closer last night.
Really?
Almost did a cuddle puddle, but we all thought about it, but nobody verbalized.
It was very cold. It was so
That was
cold.
a nice cold night. Well, I'm glad that you all became closer. It's going to make today really tough. Kevin, I find that a little hard to believe, though. I mean, you just spent last night 35 minutes torturing yourself to get immunity to make sure that you stayed longer in this game. Am I really to believe these final 7 people were able to turn the game off and really agree to push it to today?
You should. That's what happened, unless I like went to take a piss in the woods and they're voting me out. I don't. There really was not. Maybe there was a whisper here and there that I didn't catch, and I was out of it. But even this morning, it was like we were like, okay, when's the time? And then when the time came, we did the chit chat and made it happen.
Okay.
I think honestly, like I'll speak to that. We were also wiped from yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday was such a long day. Like I know I was so tired. I know everyone was so exhausted. When we found out we had a challenge to go into, we were like, come on, like we're so tired.
Yeah.
Like we all just want to go to bed. I never felt more stupid in my life than in that challenge because my brain was literally mush.
Yeah.
And I just stared at the clues like I don't even know anymore. And so when we went back, I just like we really did have a good time. We like played games. We got to know each other more. But I mean, the second the sun come up, I think we knew it was time to game.
Okay, well, in terms of today, referencing yesterday, Alicia, you mentioned a few times, hey, I'm an extra vote. I can be added to something, you know, make three, make four, right? How do you make sure that you're not just being taken and used when you're useful and then immediately being cut when it comes to kind of today's strategy?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it starts with being a number, but then as you vote together, it turns more into trust and more into alliances and relationships. So I'm hoping that I've established more trust in relationships with people, and I'm not just viewed as a number that can be cut whenever, but more beneficial to their game than that. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Like I've just been fighting so hard since I've been back, and so I'm very aware of how easy you can get voted out. I know at the end of the day, every single one of us is just a number to be used.
Yeah. Speaking of numbers, those that were paying attention might have noticed I read 9 votes at the last tribal council tie. There's a lot of talk about this potentially being kind of a 4-4 split. Was that something that surprised the group, or was that something everyone was kind of preparing for heading into that tribal council?
The 4-4 split, or there being an extra vote?
There being the 9 votes.
Yeah, I think there were 4 people that were aware that there was going to be 9 votes. Yeah, that there being that extra vote definitely changed things for the way that vote was able to go down. There's a big difference in being able to split a group and then adding that one number that makes your agenda the right one for that vote. So
yeah,
I will say I was not surprised.
Okay, interesting. Dylan, talk a little bit about, though, I mean, if it was a 4-4 split, hypothetically we're left with a 4-3 split here. If you're on that bottom, you really only need to convince one person. I mean, talk a little bit about, how easy it is to just have one person flip and how that can change the entire dynamic here.
Wait, the math didn't work for me. You're saying
there's 7 of you.
There's 7 of us, so it could be
hypothetically, there were 4 people that voted together last time. You really, if you were on the bottom, potentially, I have no idea, but you really only need to convince one person. Or if you're on the top, you need to make sure that every single person stays together.
Yeah, I will say to that I am worried about a split for sure. It's hard to know where everybody's at as like the end stage approaches. I'm scared of an idol being played. I have a lot of fear, but I also have a lot of trust, and I think today will prove to me whether or not the trust that I've had is real or not.
Okay. Ale, how much of the kind of conversation out there is been about who do we feel like is the biggest jury threat versus who do we feel like we need to keep in the game to make sure you have bigger threats in the game so that you can hide and maybe make it to the end?
I think this round, jury threat became super real, right? Like, who is actually going to the jury going to like, and who are they actually going to vote for? What game are they going to respect? What are you being viewed at, right? Like, I think every one of my conversations had a little bit of that, which I think shows like, I think it was like a little bit in the last few votes, but I think this time it was kind of like, oh shit, we're the final, right? Like, we're the final day. We literally have potentially 4 more votes, right? To get to what we all assume is the final 3. So we're like, what, you only have so much to set yourself up for that, to be able to speak to the jury, right? Because there's so much at stake with that final. It's not just the pride of like you're winning, but we all shared stories at some point about like our charities and stuff like that, and how connected we are to each of them, and like that's ultimately like what, for me, obviously I would love to win, obviously, but like my charity is why I'm here, right? Like my charity is the reason that I want to be here. I want to win. Like I want to get them that money. It's a very personal cost for me, and I know that it's a very personal cost for each of us. That it would be so stupid to not give yourself that best chance at the end because you're fighting for not just bragging rights. And I'm like, oh, I want this super cool survivor experience, right? Like you're fighting for that money. You're fighting for something that's going to change someone's life. So like you have to consider it. Like if you, I know we're all considering. I know we're all talking about it because we all did. Yeah.
Okay, well said. Cam, you were lucky this round, or well earned rather. Not necessarily lucky, but I mean lucky compared to the rest of your castmates in that you're not afraid of going home this time. How much this round were you able to kind of look ahead and start planning your path to the end rather than just worrying about surviving this vote?
Definitely. It's kind of the answer to your previous question. I've not been so much pushing like who I want to go this round. I'm saying like, hey, we're really close to the end. Like, think carefully about who you can't sit next to. And I think everyone has their own version of who that is, but probably some overlap.
Yeah, I mean, Drew, I think that's a really interesting point is that there's a lot of different ways that you can view a jury threat. I mean, how do you decide who is the biggest jury threat? Is it a social person? Is it someone who's done a lot in the game from a strategic standpoint? Who has the most relationships over there? There's a lot of different ways to look at it. So how can you choose what to weigh more than something else?
Yeah, I think everybody is a jury threat though, and I think we run the danger of getting so singularly focused on one or two people, and it's just like everybody thinks that they're going to win automatically, but you also have to be confident in your own game and be like, I got here, I worked hard, there's still time, I don't need to be pressured into doing something I don't want to do. And I think that's happened before, and it's always in consideration at these tribals. It's never just a clear cut answer. You have to think about your game and what's best for you at this moment. It's not clear cut ever.
Okay. Ty, I mean, often in a Survivor season, there's maybe one or two people left at this point that are sort of drawing dead and potentially being dragged to the end. Drew is making the claim that everyone here is still a jury threat. I'm not going to force you to name names, but do you truly believe that, or do you feel like there might be a number here that is just here to be brought to the end?
I don't think there is a single person among us that is the goat that's being dragged to the end. I don't think I haven't had a discussion with anyone about anyone seeing anyone that way. There's definitely been like a conversation of how well someone might perform at a tribal or their threat versus my threat or another person's threat. But I think everyone is going to get a vote at the final tribal that we're here, or at least be able to pitch a good case. I don't think there's anyone being dragged. No.
Okay. Dylan, I mean, the jury only gets to see you here, and I feel like you've all been very veteran and savvy and not giving me too much at tribal council, but at the end of the day, they need to see your game and understand what you've done. I mean, how do you balance kind of being a little bombastic at tribal and showing that, but also not necessarily also not necessarily drawing attention to you, among your peers here?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess for me, I'm not trying to be. I'm trying to use tribal council to honestly work through how I'm feeling where I'm at. And I'm not trying to like. I don't come here and think like, ooh, how can I phrase something or whatever. I'm actively working through this game as I'm in it because I haven't done it before. But I mean, if you're asking for more clarity, it feels like tonight the vote is between me and Alicia, and it feels like it's been barreling sort of toward that for a bit, just in the way that we've been both playing our games and who we've been playing with. And so we're actually on like totally fine terms, and we have a lot of respect for each other. And I think last night was really helpful to that because I was on the wrong side of the boat at the yesterday. And so, yeah, I mean, if that's helpful for whoever, that's just sort of where I feel like we are at in this moment.
Yeah, interesting. I feel like that's really helpful. Alicia, I mean, how did you view that potential split from your point of view? That it was between, I guess the potential that it is either between you or Dylan.
I mean, I'm well aware that my name is thrown out at every tribal. I'm not safe. And I have made several pitches to people, and it's just you want to secure the majority and use me that I have established relationships, I have established trust. They can count on me. I've proved I'm not invincible. They can establish a majority. I'll lose again and I can be gone, you know. And I'm just playing like every day is my last. I encourage everyone to do that because that's what can happen. I love Dylan to death, and he's a very charismatic, loving, wonderful person. And I have no doubt that he would be a great winner. Everyone sitting here would honestly be such a wonderful winner. And it's, I think, how you perceive a threat at this point. Are they a social threat? Are they a physical threat? Are they a threat for how they would perform in the final three? Are they a threat because you can't trust them? There's like so many factors of what a threat is. So there's more threats than the obvious, you know. There's a lot of sneaky threats out there.
Okay. That's really well said. I'm sure you've all heard arguments from both sides or all sides at this point, so won't belabor the point. And I think that's wise words that play like every day is your last, because this is your last day. We're going to get to the vote. We'll start with you, Dylan.
All right, and away we head. For those of you just tuning in to this start of day 5, this is our time to just go off and chat about everything we just heard. This is also your chance to ask any burning questions you have. Okay, here I am. Hi. So we'll just get out of earshot of the players and have our little chat time. Okay. Trying to walk quickly, because with 7 votes, there's going to be less time for us to chat. Okay. Just flipping to my handy dandy notebook page here. So as we saw kind of at the end of yesterday, players started getting a lot more emotional. It really started hitting them that like, hey, this game is real, like this game is affecting me. I'm living it. And to add to that, this morning, the players got to view videos from their loved ones to start off the day. And so what was already an incredibly emotional experience for the players has turned even more so. A lot of them just super encouraged and couldn't believe that, that they made it to this day and that, their loved ones were rallying around them. So that was really cool. We've never done that before. And I loved it. So, all right. So because we are at the final day, of course, players are now looking towards the end game, trying to figure out a path. And of course, everyone has their own idea of what that is. I'm told that Kevin R. seemed this morning to have the clearest idea of a path forward. And so he was maybe the one that was like articulating that in confessionals the best. So last round, he used his extra vote to essentially save Alicia and vote out Meg. As a result, Alicia feels really trusting of Kevin R. And feels, like she referenced, kind of like having built trust and feeling a lot better about being in an actual kind of more of an alliance-y group, and feels that Kevin R.'s vote to save her, helped her solidify that feeling. She said she slept well last night, knowing that she had that bond and that potential way of moving forward. Alicia working with Kevin, Ty, and potentially Drew, and of course would be targeting Dylan as they referenced in the tribal council. She also floated Drew as an option to Ty, but maybe, I don't know if there was a bite or not because it's not being brought up at tribal council, although not everything is. Meanwhile, Ty is probably not doing that because Ty and Drew are a very solid final 2. Ty said that he was in lockstep with Drew and wants to make it all the way to the end with her. He did, however, say that he was willing to vote Dylan. I think everyone realizing that Dylan is an incredible social threat as well as a competitor. He's won quite a few individual immunity challenges out here. Dylan also pretty well insulated on a path to the end. Thinks he, of course, has the Gay Latino Alliance of himself, Kevin R., and Ale, even though he did end up voting out Louis from it, but that doesn't seem to be affecting it as much as one might think. He also separately kind of has a group going of himself, Ale, and Cam. So Dylan is looking to maybe sit neither, definitely wants to sit next to Ale, and then with either Cam or Kevin R. as well. Dylan and Drew, remember, are rookies in this game, and so he is kind of realizing I'm going to need to eventually turn on that rookie alliance situation and go ahead and vote out Drew. I'm not sure if this is the tribal or not, but if both of them make it past this point, then we might see them turn on each other because Drew feels the same way about Dylan. Drew does not want to sit next to a rookie at the end. She would rather sit next to two vets, and she most wants to sit next to Ale and I believe Ty. So yeah, Ale has a lot of people that are wanting to sit next to him in a final. Ale feels like he's lost agency the last few rounds. He feels like maybe halfway through yesterday he was really in a position of power and has kind of lost that as time has gone on. And we saw him play an idol that he found at Tribal Council yesterday, which he didn't realize he was the fake target, and Molly, when she went home, was the real target that round. And so kind of because he, like publicly found that and like did that, he didn't get confirmation that the people that were with him during that vote. So now he's, doesn't have the assurance that he might have had that not happened. Let's see, who else have we not talked about? Cam, immune, with that immunity necklace around his neck. Jared wants to know what the deal is with that immunity necklace. It is a Tides of War themed necklace, and it has a little medallion with an oar on it. So we like to make a new idol of idols for every game, and so that is ours for Tides of War. Let's see, Cam is looking at a potential final three of Ale and Ty. So again, another one for Ale. And Cam and Drew are on an Alicia or bust, as well as Dylan are all on an Alicia or bust this vote. They're realizing she's a huge threat. She can win challenges as much as she likes to pretend like she can't. So they're basically Alicia or bust. There is no other option. So yeah, let's see. Do I have anything else for y'all? Do you have any questions for me? Okay, well, that is our time, and I think that might. Yeah, I think that covers everything. Let's see. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much it. Also of note, Kevin R. Used that extra vote to get out Meg over Alicia because he wanted to break up the perceived trio of Cam, Ale, and Meg M. So maybe was not actually to secure Alicia as an ally, but maybe, don't know. All right, so we are now heading back to the Tribal Council area, where we will find out very shortly who the next player to join our jury will be. Okay.
If anybody has a hidden immunity idol and would like to play one, now would be the time to do so. Okay, I'll get to the votes. First vote, Alicia. Second vote, Dylan. Third vote, Drew. Fourth vote, 1 vote Alicia, 1 vote Ty, 1 vote Drew, 1 vote Dylan. 3 votes left. 5th vote, Alicia. 6th vote, and the next member of our jury, Alicia. That's 3. That's enough.
That's probably a good idea. I was about to pop off.
You haven't been? What do you mean?
You've been.
Alicia, for the 2nd time, the tribe has spoken.
On the last?
Woo! Let's go, Alicia!
All right, cheers all around the tribal council area for Alicia as she exits. Alicia, we are still live and we're going to head on over towards that tree line. Once you get all settled and comfy and the players are far enough away, this will be your time to share any thoughts that you have with our viewers.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll just put you maybe a little more near this birch tree.
Okay. Right here?
Yes.
Okay. What am I sharing?
Any thoughts you have
I'm
about
like,
your
oh.
time in the game? You can take a moment to gather yourself while
Yeah.
we have players file away.
I know I talk loud, so it's like they might still be able to hear me.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll give you a little drum cover, compliments of Declan, and we'll just wait for them to mosey a little farther away.
okay.
They're just taking their sweet time strolling back to camp. All right, Alicia, the floor
Hi.
is yours. Hi.
Wow. I'm just so grateful to have had a second shot, and I just was fighting from the minute that I got in, and I caused a lot of chaos, which was my goal, and I built really strong relationships, and I am like a little bit surprised that they didn't keep me until they were in the majority. They, as in, I'm forgetting everyone's names all of a sudden. I have to look at them. Drew and Kevin and Ty. They might be a little bit at risk, but who knows? I just had the best time. I seriously had so much fun, and I'm so proud of myself. I love all of the players that I met, and I still have an advantage I didn't get to use. I had the thought to like give it to someone before in case I was voted out, but then that would have given them more reason to vote me out. So now I have a little souvenir that I can't use against them returning this time as like the idol.
Yeah. All right, Alicia, you made it so far in this game, all the way to day 5. Tons to be
Last
proud
day.
of out here. I would
Thank
love to
you.
know maybe one thing you're most proud of about yourself and your time here. The list I know is quite long.
I think the thing I'm most proud of is just like proving to myself that I could do it and that I could play from the bottom, that I could come back, that I could win back, that I could fight my way back, like that I could do it. And it makes me like emotional. But I'm really proud of myself, and I just had like the best time, and I'm really grateful for production and for everyone and people watching. Like it was just a beautiful experience, and if anyone's watching and want to come play Can You Survive, you should totally do it. It's the best time.
Well, thank you so much for
Yeah,
that
thank
positive
you.
endorsement. We love it. Before I let you go, just a couple more things. I know a lot of players typically in this unfamiliar setting find that they learn something about themselves. Is there anything in particular that you learned about yourself in your time out here?
That's a good question. I've learned a lot. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is just my first vote off anyway. Like, as a veteran, I know better to split a vote when you're unsure if someone has something, and if you have the numbers, just to always split it if you can. And so I had to relearn that and get that cemented in my head. But learning about myself, I think like I am strong, I am smart, I am super bad at logic puzzles, and that I could win Survivor. Like, I think I could really do it. I learned that I need to come off less strong in the beginning less of a threat, but I just couldn't help myself. So I don't know. I learned a lot. You tell me. What did you learn about me? I don't know.
Amazing. All right, Alicia. Well, before I let you head on over to Ponderosa, you were playing for a very worthy cause. So this is your time to shout them out and let the viewers know who you were playing for.
Yes. Shout out to the Humane Society. I love animals. They've always had a special spot in my heart. Each pet and each animal has its own spirit. Be kind to animals, be kind to pets. If you're buying one, adopt if you can. And yeah, that's about it.
Amazing. All right, Alicia, congratulations on a game very well fought and
Thank
very
you.
well played. I'm going to let you head on over to Ponderosa with your
Okay.
handler, Barry.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you at the next tribal council.
Your baby's
so
home.
great. I know.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. And with that, we are now down to the final 6 players. And of course, as always, we'll be setting up for another individual immunity challenge. Just going to check in with our host, Cam, on when you should all expect to be back to the live stream to catch the next round of action. Hey, Cam, what are we thinking for our next stream?
We're going to try to get there as soon as possible. But
Okay, so 10 minutes?
Yeah, let's try that.
All right, cool. Well, we'll see you back here in 10 minutes. Going to try and not whip through this day, but you know, we want to keep it exciting. We want to keep the action nonstop. So see you back here in about 10 minutes. Thanks everyone for joining us on our last day of Can You Survive? Tides of War.